had all this shit under control. Be like, I'm gonna sue.
You're alive. Relics of Krundakar. Hello, good day. It is Tuesday, another day of Cleric Talk Tuesday. Hello, my name is Michael Gramling.
Hi, I'm Cindy Munoz, and I'm known as the High Priestess 710. Sorry,
Yes.
lots going on. Lots going on always.
So as you guys can tell, Cindy is calling in from the farm again today.
I am.
So how are things at the farm?
They're fine.
They're fine.
Did I want to be at the farm? No.
Yes. Well, we have a couple of morning announcements. They're real short. First and foremost, another weekly reminder: Emerald City Comic Con's coming. It'll be here March 12th to the 15th. Again, if you are here in the Pacific Northwest, come out, come play. Games are fantastic and free. You can meet Cindy and myself. We'll be there playing D&D because that's what we do.
That's what we do.
It's an amazing lineup. We have a ton of games. We have Learn to Play, so if you've never played before, or you want to kind of get your friend involved who's never played, and we're good at convincing. You can do that.
I'm excited for this one.
You're excited for this Emerald City Comic Con?
Yeah.
It's gonna be great. It's bigger than it was last year. They've got a ton of people coming.
We're gonna have 20 tables.
We're gonna have 20 tables.
20 tables.
We're gonna have 20 tables.
And we're running Volo's Wake as the starting one. The introductory to like Volo's Guide to Monsters. So we're gonna have a lot of monster races as pre-gens.
That is exciting.
Right in.
That is very exciting. Other than that, this Thursday, this weekend. That's what I wrote. This weekend, Zulus is having. They're running the epic Relics of Kroon Dakar. So if you get a chance to sign up and play at Zulus in Bothell, that's going on. Cindy, have you played Relics of Kroon Dakar?
I've played so many, I don't know. Do you know the background story to that one?
You are basically in mountainsides and stuff searching for this relic of Krundakar. Go guess that one. And you're trying to beat Baron Rajram and all of the giants to this area in order to stop them from getting this all-powerful item. And it basically ends where White Plume Mountain is. So it's got the whole White Plume Mountain in wrap.
Oh, okay.
So if you haven't played White Plume Mountain
I'm not finished.
Did we lose you?
No, she's back.
Okay. Yeah, it's really
But
good.
I have not played that one. No, Michael, that is one I have not played yet.
I haven't played it either, so that's okay too.
Amy loves that one because we were going down a slide and there was mushrooms, and for flavor she started like blowing up the mushrooms. It's supposed to have really bad effects, but our DM Rob, good old Rob, made it so that we went on a mushroom trip.
That's fantastic.
Ta-da!
And then our last announcement is this Thursday at the Foxy Lady Bar. Cleric Games is going to be playing some D&D with some Foxy ladies.
I forgot to tell you, there's one more announcement after
There's another announcement after this? That is okay.
Oh, wait! I am DMing this Thursday.
Yes! I'm very excited. I'm going to try to play at your table because you still haven't DM'd for me.
It seems like my table might be getting a little full. If you haven't signed up on Warhorn, Mikey, you might want to sign up on Warhorn.
I'll just push someone out of their seat and sit there. It'll be fine. Totally fine.
We'll make it work.
So Daniel has finished editing and everything's getting finalized for those who have backed Collateral Damage. It is in the final processes of basically going out to the people. So we're hoping by like the first weekend of March, people will actually have things shipped to them. Puts us about a week or two behind, but since it's our very first Kickstarter, we feel like that's a pretty good goal to be at. And I just got informed, Fritz just told me that the next Kickstarter for Adventures and Adversaries goes live next Tuesday.
Ooh. That will be. Well,
I will get some stuff from him for us.
I'm gonna put my Fonzie jacket on
to talk about it tomorrow or next week.
That's very exciting. Yeah, if you guys haven't checked out Collateral Damage, we've done a couple of play tests with Daniel. Those have been fun. Cindy can tell you guys all about it.
I would like to do another game because now we have the final edits.
Yeah.
And he will be at Emerald City Comic Con as well. He's not going to be part of the Cleric location. I think he reached out to Library of Alexandria, and he's going to be there with them.
That'll be very exciting. So if you're going to be at Emerald City Comic Con this year, make sure to check out Collateral Damage. It is it is a role-playing game that you deserve and you will love. It is amazing. That's what we got for morning announcements. Cindy, what are we talking about today?
Well, we're talking about modern times today, Michael. We're going to talk about how something that was just coming to be when this wonderful game that we love was just being born itself. Technology, my friend, technology. And I like to talk about how D&D was able to put together gaming and technology. As we know, a lot of games, there are some popular ones, there have been some failures, but that have always overcame has been the pen and paper. But I want to talk about some of these technical digital games here.
So speaking of the whole digital influences and stuff in D&D, I also need to note that there's the community of D&D is kind of split between accepting these digital tools that we're going to talk about, and then some people that are just tried and true pen and paper and keeping it that way. First, Cindy, do you like the digital tools that we have nowadays, or do you prefer tried and true pen and paper from the beginning?
So when I first started, pen and paper was definitely the way to go, because I think when you're first learning, you should be using pen and paper. It allows you to understand the dynamics of how the game works better. When you write things down, you remember things a little bit more easier. Excuse me. And so I used to be all about pen and paper. I don't want anything to do with digital, because sometimes I felt like when you have D&D Beyond, if you didn't know what you were doing, yeah, you could do random and you could do that kind of stuff. But for me, I like control of stuff. And so if I didn't know what I was doing, it became a little too daunting to be trying to type stuff in and then being oh, I have to go to another area to then add the rest of these spells in. And I didn't understand that. It was really confusing. And so pen and paper was definitely originally my go-to.
Okay.
Now I do a little mixture. I like to have my digital, but I also like to have pen and paper. I like to take notes on pen and paper. And then have my digital stuff going on. I've given into the D&D Beyond gods, and I now pay them penance for my sins of hating them, and now I hope that they take care of my characters for me, and yeah, I like both. I like doing both. So I keep my character on digital form, and then I do pen and paper for everything else, for note taking or recording things. I don't like keeping it digital. I like having the pen and a piece of paper where I write down what I did for that round, for that module or whatever it may be.
I honestly am a big fan of making this pen and paper RPG a paperless pen and paper RPG. I love all of the technology that we have that kind of I think that it improves playing D&D Beyond. I think Beyond is an incredible tool, and especially since we live in a day and age where everyone has their phone, and technology is really integrated in everything that we do in our lives. I love D&D Beyond. I think it makes character management really easy, fun, and navigatable. And a lot of arguments towards like letting these digital things in the game is that it kind of disconnects you from that face-to-face. But I would think otherwise. Like, you've gotten to use Roll20, right?
Yes.
I think Roll20 is an excellent addition to the game because, you know, it really allows you to meet people, you know, from everywhere. You don't run into the huge problems of scheduling. Well, I mean, you do, but notably it's much less than like the in-person physical old school way.
Yeah, I mean, Roll20's got its downsides that it needs to work on. You know, there's some stuff on there, but overall, I do enjoy the convenience of Roll20. I feel that Roll20, what Roll20 does is that it makes it easier for you to connect with other people, not just in your neighborhood. You know, like you're not going. It's not like a one-time thing like, oh my gosh, I'm going to a convention and then I might run into someone from Illinois there and then I get to play with at the table. Well, if you really like that person from Illinois and you guys hit it off as friends, you guys will get to go to home and log into your computer and you guys can play a game on Roll20. You know, and then maybe he's got a friend or she's got a friend from New York and they got a friend from China and now everyone's playing all. You know what I mean? Like, I think that's a really cool thing that has now been brought to it gives an expansion to playing in your basement. You know what I mean? Like, you could still be the guy that's in your basement playing or not, but now you get to be like, well, I have friends from all over the world. Well, why? Because of Dungeons and Dragons.
And I also love the digital map. Like there's a lot of challenges with like theater of the mind. If you haven't really done theater of the mind, it can also be kind of a turnoff for new players and things like that. And I think that Roll20, since it has the digital map, kind of really immerses you a little bit more, and it gives you color and extra life, and that's a huge upside, I think, to Roll20. One thing is digital dice rollers. So this is also something that's implemented in Roll20, is that when you make an attack roll, you're not really rolling dice and you're letting technology dictate your rolls for you. What do you feel about digital dice rollers versus like actual dice?
I hate them.
You hate them? Because I know Rob uses a digital dice roller, which, I mean, an upside to a dice roller is that it streamlines everything. You don't have to add any modifiers or anything. You basically click a button and then poof, that's your number.
I know. I just you don't want to get into my head. You don't want to get into my head. You know, like you don't want to ask why I don't digital dice. Like I'll start to sound like a fucking psycho. Rogue Joe, thank you so much. Yes, DT loves his calculator. Now that is something that's very important.
Yes.
Is a calculator.
This is 20.
But guys,
oh, you're getting glitchy.
For me, like I grew up like in a time of like when like the digital slot machines started coming out and stuff like that, and so like I always felt that you can like program things to like not be good for you, and like I swear to God, those freaking dice roll so low on the digital dice, and I hate it. You have to treat it like real dice and just get another dice rolling app. You just keep cycling through dice rolling apps until you find the one.
Well, so there are the dice goblins who literally hate digital dice rollers because they want their 5 million dice that they bring upon with them. Like, I play with 3 people who have bricks of dice that they like, and they just They roll a nat 1 on a d20, it goes away. Like they're the Laura Bailey of my community right now. There's like 10 of them that like they all encourage this habit of dice.
And don't get me wrong, the lazy person in me loves the digital dice, because then it's like, oh, I just pull open my phone and here's an app for it. Boom. You know what I mean? But at the same time, like I prefer to be able to have the dice and be like, I have control of what happens here to my fate. Like, you know what I mean? And if they're not rolling well, it's like, you're in jail, throw you in the bag, pull out another set.
For me... oh, go ahead. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
No, I was just saying, I just feel like I don't like my fate and like what happens in my life for a computer to make that call. I have, in real life, the computer makes, like, normally computers make decisions for my everyday life already as it is. I don't want it to be that in my fantasy game.
For me, I find dice rollers really, really wonderful when I DM, especially when I need to manage several monsters, and you know, it's really easy. Rogue Joe makes an important point of when you have to roll like 20 dice per attack and then adding it all up, and et cetera, et cetera.
Joe also takes the averages for a rogue.
All averages.
No, he does. Like he doesn't like to roll his dice because a high-level assassin has to roll so many dice.
So much.
I'm not gonna lie, I have done it before too, where like it gives you like here's your like what you would get, like here's your average thing as this whatever this attack whatever. There's been times where I used it too like that, especially as a rogue, because it's just that much easier. Like I feel it. The only time I have no problem throwing dice out like that is if I'm like sitting next to someone like the Midnight Cleric, where I know he's already looking at my dice and he already calculated everything for me like before I could even look up. So.
But are you okay with people doing that though?
Oh yeah.
I'm okay with. Okay, so there is a good and a bad to that. So like, I'm totally okay with it when I know the person next to me is like 25. Like they just kind of give me the number. They're like 32, and I'm like, oh, thank you. But then there's a person that's like, she got 24. Like, don't fucking call my number out for me. Like that's where I don't like it. You know what I mean?
Okay.
Don't call my number out for me. But if you tell me that's 13, I'm like, thank you. You know what I mean? And then I can like, and if I have to, like, you don't know what my bonuses are, so I have my bonuses to add. You know what I mean? But like, I'm okay with that. I'm okay. Like if you were sitting next to me, Ben, and you're like, and you see me like taking a couple seconds to count, and you're like, that's 24. I'd be like, thanks. And I'd then continue and move on from there. You know what I mean?
So, because I have a tendency to do that with Amy sometimes, and I really try to catch myself to not do that because I don't want to be playing the game for her, kind of thing.
No, if it helps the time go by faster because I'm sitting there counting numbers, I'm not gonna lie, like Josh can attest to this, like I am fucking dyslexic when it comes to numbers. So like if there's a shit ton of numbers in front of me and it starts to double, my brain literally will start swapping numbers back and forth, and I'll say a number out loud and Josh has heard me say it like backwards.
Gotcha.
And so that's why for me, like I have no problem with you just kind of like nicely and politely, not frustrated. I don't, you know, your frustration because I'm taking too long doesn't help me out. You know what I mean? Like that's not what I'm looking for from someone at the table. What I'm looking for is for you to be kind and be like, hey, 24. Thank you. You know, like that's okay. That's okay. And then once I'm at a table and me and that person have established that, be ready because now I'm expecting you to count.
You better stand your
you
toes.
Just roll your dice and look at them.
I'm gonna roll them and look at you. I'm not gonna roll them and count them down.
Now, following up, do you care if there are people who use like digital dice rollers at the table? Like, does that kind of impact your gameplay for you at all?
What was that, Mike? You cut out. What was that last part?
So, how do you feel about people using dice rollers and people using dice at like the same table? Do you think that that's weird, or do you think it doesn't really matter?
Doesn't matter. Everyone's got their own little flavor. It's, like maybe the only time I used to hate the dice towers was because I was jealous that I didn't have one. Now I have one and I don't care.
That's fair. I think that there's a huge set of satisfaction, like having a dice tower and a whole bunch of dice. I think that combo definitely outbeats like the digital dice roller, just for me, because I love just the sound of the cascade, and it's great.
I started using mine.
And I've never met. What's that, Ben?
I started using mine at my Sunday games, and all of my friends just went, "Well, where's mine?"
Where's mine?
So when we get a restock from C4, I need to purchase some.
Yeah.
Oh, we will be. C4, trust me. And then Josh and I were discussing about getting some more custom stuff done, especially for Renaissance Fair. So we'll have some custom pieces that we're hoping C4 is going to have ready for us.
That'd be cool.
I mean, Josh is pumped for Renaissance Fair this year. I think
he's been talking about it quite a bit.
Oh my God! I walked into his office this morning to go, because the shower and everything like that is all in the other building, and so I have to leave the trailer to go out over there to take the shower. So I'm in my robe and I go to take a shower and I walk into his office and all I hear is Celtic music. And he looks over at me. He's like, "I'm pumped for Renaissance Fair," and I'm like, "Okay."
Don't fair shame him.
Don't fair shame him.
I'm not. I just said okay. I was like, okay. No judgment. Jeez.
So.
No, but honestly, I like the dice towers. I mean, no one. Rojo, total Ren addict. Honestly, for me, the dice towers. If anything, I've never heard of anyone complain about the noise of it. You know what I mean? I've heard more complaints about Josh at the table than I have heard people dropping dice down the tower. It doesn't bother me.
Let's see. Ooh, another kind of digital influence towards the game is tabletop audio. So playing music at the table and having playlists and stuff. I put that down as digital influence because, I mean, I guess it is. How do you feel about tabletop audio? Like cavern sounds and stuff?
I like it, but there has to be, you have to be understanding of your surroundings and how loud to have your speakers. You know what I mean? If you're gonna do that,
I mean, I feel like a fair at a convention, probably a no-go. But what about a home game where it's just
I think it's
well, don't cut that short, Mikey, because I have had at conventions someone that's able to do music. Now, if you have the music way too loud, it can be really disruptive. If you have it, if you know your surrounding, you know the sound, and you're kind of working with it, it might be a little jarring at first when you turn it on. But I don't see anything wrong with it as long as you're respectful with where your noise volume is. You know what I mean? How much noise are you putting out there for? At home, yeah, I think it's great. But the problem also with that is being able to have someone that knows how to control volume up and down at the right times. You know what I mean? But I do feel that sorry, I got distracted because I looked over and our Irish Red Roses over here with her 6 months. Woo woo!
We've been streaming for 6 months, guys.
Thank you. Anyways, I got distracted. I had to say. I feel that music can add to the element. I was Audrey, one of the girls that we work with, who does a lot of the cosplay at our conventions. She did the Strahd module for a weekend at Strahd's.
Oh yeah.
And I played in it, so she it's great. It was great. There were some things that I realized that she didn't know how to play in because she was I've never seen them because she was a little younger. You know what I mean? She's seen some of them because she is at that mid-20s, I believe, is where Audrey's at in her age. But some of the stuff that I remember as a kid, there was kind of some gappage in it. So you have to really know the movies that you were into when you're playing the module. But what's great is that I had told her, I was what I really love though, Audrey, is that you were perfect at your timing with some of these songs on the areas, with the Heathers. there was like this whole like area on the module where they refer to the Heathers. I don't know if you've ever seen that movie. I don't know if you're too young, Mikey.
I'm way too young.
Okay, so the Heathers is old movie about these popular girls, and Winona Ryder's in it. Hey Jamie, hey. So Winona Ryder's in it, but her name isn't Heather. Hers is like Christina or Christine or something. And like it's about these mean girl, and it's like this little group, and Christian Slater's in it, and it's a great movie. And she had Girls Just Want to Have Fun was playing, and I was like, oh my god, it's so perfect. So at the very end, I'm like telling her like, oh my god, the music was great. She's like, I can't take too much credit for it. And I was like, why? She's like, because the guy gives you a link for you to download the songs, or to like a YouTube page that has the songs that play during the time that you're supposed to be running the module. And I was like, duh, okay.
Still, I mean, I think that's a really clever and fun thing to do, especially in that module, because it's a bunch of like 80s callbacks and some 90s.
It was so fun. Like, it had all the songs were 80s songs, so they fit very well with like whatever the theme of the movie that it was supposed to be going along with. But it was pretty good. Like, it starts with the Breakfast Club, I believe, is what you start with, or something like that. I can't remember exactly. I was pretty drunk that night. But, hey, it was at the New Year's event.
I know. That was a fun event.
That was a very fun event. I learned a lot that day. But that right there was a great module. Like you said, I think that they were able to provide that music to give you that experience with the 80s music to mix in with the feeling of like what movie you're supposed to be a part of, you know what I mean, where your characters are kind of interacting. And it's great. It's great. If you guys, you know what, I told Audrey, like, I would love to pull that module so that I can run it one day. I think that'd be really fun to run on streaming time. Just to have with the music in the back, like, oh, but we can't with the music, huh?
No. No, we can't do that.
TOS.
One thing that makes me laugh, like, I really enjoy tabletop audio. Like, I enjoy when it's like cavern noises and this and that. But I always thoroughly enjoy when someone's playing like some crazy like doom eternal death metal, and you're like in a shop, like trying to buy torches or something, and like in the bar or like in the shop, it's just playing this like heavy like kind of thing. That always makes me smile.
That's why I love Ren Fair so much, because at Ren Fair, like, you don't need to put on the fake background. Like, you're constantly always in the marketplace or at the town. Yeah. So it's great. You know, another good thing about technology too is like Low. You know, if you guys have watched the shows that we used to have when we did the Essential Kit, you would have met Lo, who played the Bugbear. Lo tends to use, because she's a really, hold on, someone came in to say hi.
Carne asada.
Hey guys, how you doing?
All right.
Yes, Jamie, I definitely agree. Spaces with good atmosphere for D&D are definitely so nice to have. I agree. I've always wanted to have like an outdoor, like go out to the mountains and like set up a like tea party type of setting, and then like play a game of D&D and have like a tea party at the same time. Like out, I've always thought that'd be fun. I don't know if anybody's out there and wants to do something like that. I'm down with planning.
Katie and I have done that.
I think that'd be really fun.
Yeah,
you know, like get like little like little like stumps of wood for us to all sit on and stuff, you know, and maybe get like recycled pillows to just put on top of the stump just to cushion our little tushies.
Cushion our tushies.
See, Jamie's in, and we're gonna play a game of D&D. I'm down.
Okay, but you have to DM for us.
Me?
Yes.
Okay. I'll DM.
I have around the top of my living room area. I showed you. Josh just saw it the other day. I have LED lights that I can switch the lights to. So like if like the group walks into like I don't know a fire giant territory, I can pop the lights to red. If they go underwater, I can change them to blue. If they're in a forest, I can set it to green. I got like all this stuff like set up. I'm gonna have a projector. I have everything. I just have to get it set up so I can project down onto the table so that they can have a map like readily projected on there.
I love the projector from the ceiling.
Oh, I'm down. That's amazing.
Like I've been trying to make it so like my D&D experience for players will be top notch and for me.
Mm-hmm.
But then a week and a half ago, 2 of my Pathfinder games just crumbled. They fell apart. I'm no longer going to be doing it. So, yeah.
You let me know when, Ben. I'm in.
Yeah, I'm there. Let's do it. I'm ready.
Google Home Wolves. Yeah, like I have Alexa, but I just have a remote that I can do it with. But like.
Oh, see, Jamie says she's installing Google Home so that she could do the same thing.
Yeah.
I've seen those. I want those too. My whole house is turning into an Alexa zone. So yeah. I'm looking into like her powering my whole house. So that'd be great to find like the light bulbs and stuff like that too.
Let's see.
Yeah, see, everyone's in on it. I love it. We gotta get.
I gotta throw it out there for Charles. In case you get into the strat area, you can have some strat colors of like dark blues and stuff.
I know, red's like a necessity. And then we gotta get like the lighting so that we can like dim it, and then have like candles that flicker.
Dude, the LED lights do that all.
I love it.
See, what you guys are totally neglecting is the projector on the ceiling. That is the best thing in the world. I've run a couple of games where I had a projector like hanging from the ceiling on the ground, and then I'll build the map in Photoshop. And so when someone does something like cast Fireball in real time, I can just like cause damage to the world. It's so fun. I'm a huge fan of the projector deal. Like
I was saying about Lo. So
yeah.
Bringing something to technology at the table, she gets she has like this little thing that she got from Amazon that it's like a little headpiece. It looks like a microphone, like call center kind of like headpiece. And she's got this little thing that's got a speaker that projects her voice. So she sounds like she's like on Jungle Cruise at Disneyland.
It's always the best because no one's really expecting it. And then you just start hearing Jungle Cruise low, and it's fantastic.
And you'll see the hippopotamuses on the left side.
Keep your arms and legs inside at all times. There are lions about. Over here, you'll see a frost giant.
Ben, what did you just do right now, Ben? Let's talk about this really quick.
Well, you wanted to test some products from a company that we stream with. So I just ordered a couple of SV shirts for, Mikey and I to test out, or Josh or whatever.
As soon as that comes in, guys, we will expect a modeling shoot from Ben with the runway and all, modeling his shirt.
So we'll see the quality of that. But there's also the female one that we need to get information on, Cindy, so I can buy one for you. We'll talk about that after stream.
There we go. Yes. So question. And this is also to chat. You guys can chime in here too. Do you feel like we should embrace technology into the D&D verse, or do you think maybe there's a limit, or do you think that we should keep this pen and paper system pen and paper? Cindy, what do you think?
So I feel that I like both worlds. I like being able to dabble in both of them. I feel, because I've been at the point where I've played video games. Like, I played World of Warcraft. World of Warcraft is just a digital form of Dungeons and Dragons. You know what I mean? And so I played that and been like, God, I wish I could do this and actually communicate with people. Mm-hmm. And then I've been at the table and I've played D&D for so many days in a row where I'm like, God, I would love to just sit down and not have to talk and just grab a controller and just play.
Yeah.
You know? And so that's what I like is that there's the best of both. You know, I like that WotC has been able to license Dungeons and Dragons to be able to create video games so that you can be able to do both. You know, I just got into Boulder's Gate, and Boulder's Gate's pretty crazy. It's very similar to pen and paper. You have to or your stats and all that kind of stuff, and you have to pick certain stuff. It's a lot more of an older edition though version of Dungeons and Dragons because you're having to pick like certain classes to match with the race.
Mm-hmm.
So that's like the old Boulder's Gate that I was playing, and then I love it, but I don't like playing it alone, and I don't like. I'm really weird about talking with strangers sometimes. Like I used to be really good at it when I would craft, but now as I've gotten older, like I don't want to talk to other strangers. I kind of want to stick to friends. But I play Neverwinter. I really like it. It's a free to play game. It's Dungeons and Dragons licensing on there, so you're gonna run into Acquisitions Incorporated. You run into Drist. You run into Minx and Boo. Like mostly, like almost any one of your favorite D&D characters, you're probably gonna figure out a way to run into them on this game. And I enjoy it. I like it a lot. Like the holiday events are my favorite, especially Christmas time. That's my favorite. But that's a good way of being able to kind of get away playing pen and paper D&D to like do a digital world, you know, like playing a digital version of it. And then when playing pen and paper version, I mean, I still consider D&D Beyond as if I'm playing pen and quote unquote pen and I'm just using technology
it's
my
it's paperless pen and paper. That's how I like to imagine it. I think that
exactly.
I think that we should really I believe that we should really embrace technology and really move towards this paperless pen and paper style game and like really incorporate more technologies into it. And on that same forefront, thinking about it, I think D&D is unique in the sense that the game can be played pen and paper and be as enjoyable like 100% as well as if you were to include like we use Beyond and Roll20 and all these RPG tools and like projectors and light, all this crazy stuff, and it can be enjoyed like it doesn't matter if it's tech, like a lot of tech or no tech. And I think that is something that it's ingrained in D&D, and I think that's wonderful as well. So
Yeah, I agree.
Oh,
what?
Go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say I like it because I like how they're able to. I know that in some I haven't played all the Dungeons and Dragons like PC games that have been out there, but I know that there is a lot of stories that have been created just through the video game itself and like not and been its own thing outside of like what they're doing storyline of the books pen and paper.
Mm-hmm. Speaking of games, that's also a partial good topic. So D&D has influenced a bunch of games. So Baldur's Gate, Icewind Dale, Sword Coast Legends, Neverwinter, all of these games. And they also have Dungeons and Dragons Dark Alliance coming out later this year in the fall. What are some of these games that, I mean, you touched on Neverwinter a little bit, but do you think that these games are like fun and enjoyable, or like garbage, or copycats, or
So it all depends on what game you're talking about, because I feel like there's so many different ones there that when you're playing some of the older ones, they can be fucking brutal. Some of the older games are hella brutal. Like you have a party like we were playing. Josh and I were playing Baldur's Gate. There was a party, and in the party, somebody died, and there's no resurrecting them. It's done. You're gone. You know. And that kind of for me, it's like that's not fun. That's like, you know what I mean? Like I don't know. Like I get it. Some people find that fun. I personally don't. Some of the games that are coming out, like I said, I love Neverwinter. Neverwinter is one of my favorite ones, and I like that one even more is because it has such a similar interface to what the vanilla World of Warcraft was, so that way it's a lot more easier for me to jump in and know what I was doing, you know, to familiarize myself with it. Whereas there's other ones that the game, it's very like it's old 1980s games, you know, and how fun were some of those? Not that great, right? Like maybe they were great for their time, and then now playing them, you're like,
Oh, quick shout out. Thank you, Jamie, for gifting Commander with a tier 1 sub. That's very cool of you. Thank you for that.
Oh, thank you. Thank you so much, Jamie. Let's see.
Well, so have you ever played Knights of the Old Republic or any games like that, Cindy?
Yes, I did play. I played Knights of the Republic when it came out. Right after, like, I forget what release of Warcraft was. I bought the fucking set, man. I bought the box that came with the statue, that had the book with all the artwork, and like the DVD of like, or the CD music, and like the special little like thing, the authenticating code changer.
Okay, that was for SOTOR. That was for the online game. Flex much? Jeez.
That's the only one I played.
So you haven't played the original like Knights of the Old Republic. So okay, you might like those. I don't know. Those have a like very original base game setting of D&D where like there's a point buy system and everything like that. Like and they have skills and proficiencies and that sort of thing.
Knights of the Old Republic is one of my buddies, one of my best friends. It's like his favorite game of all time. Just because it's an incredible D20 system and good storyline, good combat.
See, like for me, like when I was growing up, a lot the D&D games weren't what I played. Like I didn't play a lot of those, so I'm not really familiar. Like I played a lot of puzzle games when I was young. I was like I played Myst, and there was this one called Titanic where you're on a boat that you find yourself in like this spaceship that was like ran by robots, and you were trying to figure out how to unlock these doors to free the ship. I don't know, it was really weird, but those are the kind of games I played. So now that I've gotten older, Myst was amazing, right, Jamie? So now that I've gotten older, I have gone back to a lot of these new additions, like these like revamping of these games. And so like I haven't really explored much of it because it's such a pain in the ass. Like it literally took Josh and I almost a whole day to create a character on Baldur's Gate. And the reason that is because he literally made me sit there and click the re-roll button until I got certain stats. I don't want to get like that.
You've never really had to like roll your stats out before, like for D&D, have you?
She did for a Pathfinder game.
You did play a Pathfinder. Did you?
And I did for D&D when I first started, because I started in 4th edition.
Do they still? Like, okay. I don't remember. Like I never really played 4th edition. That's just been blocked from my memory. So I'm like, did you roll stats in 5th edition or 4th? I mean. That's fun.
Yeah, at least I did. I mean, I'm sure you could have done point by system at that point, but that's not how Josh taught me. Mm-hmm. So I didn't do it that way.
In 3.5, you would roll your stats, and like, you know, depending on your dungeon master, like you could roll your stats like 4 times, and then pick whichever ones you wanted, or I mean like which set of stats you wanted, but.
AD&D was the most brutal because you rolled in a straight line. You get 3d6 for your strength, you get 3d6 for the next one, you get 3d6 for the next one, and you just went down in a line. There was no like, oh, whatever you roll, you can pick and choose. Like you're like, I'm gonna be a paladin. I rolled a 6 strength. I rolled a 4 charisma. I am still a paladin. I am the worst paladin ever to exist.
One thing that I really want to try is I want to do random one-shots, because in D&D Beyond there's the random button, so it'll randomize all of your stuff for you. I want to do that and then do, some one-shot wonder and see how it goes. I think that would be enjoyable. I hope.
Yeah, well, what was weird about Baldur's Gate was that there was one point I rolled something and it had like another number next to it, and I'm like, what the fuck is this, Josh? He's like, well, you could roll a number that gave you like a 17 and an 18. I was like, what does that even mean? I was so confused. I was so angry. I don't know. I'm looking forward to the new Baldur's Gate. That's the one I want to play.
So...
I'm being told that someone's going to try to blackmail me for a signed box of Miss.
Sakura said that Jamie needs to do that for you, but I don't know what's going to happen.
So, speaking of the upcoming game, it's Dungeons and Dragons Baldur's Gate Dark Alliance. One thing that I have been waiting for forever is literally just like a grid tactical D&D 5th edition or whatever edition basic game, and it's never existed. Kingmaker for Pathfinder on PC, that's pretty dang close to it, but it's not my D&D game, and I'm sad. I mean, the new game coming out is probably going to be pretty cool, but to me, it's because it's going to be like the other Alliance games, and it's it's like Diablo. It's just a reskin Diablo. I think it's cool that the characters you get to choose, but it's just Diablo.
Not gonna lie, kind of thought the same thing, but it's Diablo's still a dope game, and I wouldn't mind having a D&D character familiar inspired game to play. I mean,
that's true. At least until Diablo 4 comes. Diablo 5.
That would be fun. You get to play a Tristram. Have you guys played the Goose game?
The Untitled Goose Game?
Yeah.
No, but it's one of the best games in the world.
I loved it. But if you could play the Untitled Goose Game, but be a Tristram, and you get to fly around and fuck with people, or a closet because you're invisible,
that would be fun.
I can see Cindy getting behind that.
So, but yeah, we'll see. I mean, it's supposed to come out later this year. It could be cool. Could be terrible. You know what? I don't think you ever tried Sword Coast Legends. It's another D&D game.
No, you keep telling me about the game. Everything.
I liked it. It's a really close adaptation to the pen and paper to a digital format. It's still does its own thing, sorta, but that never got really popular, and I mean I don't even think they sell it anymore, and it's just I was sad. I liked that game.
Wait. What do you guys think of the new Wizards game studio snatching up the best people from BioWare to make sci-fi games? I think it's fucking great. I think it's genius. I think the fact that they took the guy known as the closer from BioWare to fucking finish the shit up, I think is dope. Because you know what that tells me? You know what that gives me a drop of hope for? That gives me a drop of hope that we're gonna get some amazing movies, or maybe even I don't give a shit if it's fucking Netflix specials or Hulu originals, as long as they're amazingly done and given the respect that they're needed. I think that it could be great, because tell me the shit that BioWare hasn't spit out isn't beautifully made. I know they haven't made any movies for them, but there's not the world that's been created for those games like there is, or that they have done for the background stories that are in D&D. You know what I mean? That Wizards has underneath their cloak of beautiful storytelling. And I think that the most amazing thing is that they picked up those guys, the homie from BioWare. I think that's genius. I think it's genius, and I hope that gives a brighter future for what we are gonna see in technology with Dungeons and Dragons.
Mm-hmm. I'm excited. I think it's gonna be dope. It should be really cool. I mean, granted, Wizards of the Coast hasn't done a really good job at like doing video games. Like they just haven't had a lot of luck and popularity and things like that. But
TG Arena is the
that's different.
Yeah, but I mean
that's a whole other.
They're also coming out with a Netflix original right now for Magic, and I think that they're also coming out with another game
Magic gets all the love
for Magic. Well, that's because Magic makes them all the money right now.
Make them all the money.
So
I know. But that's why, like, I don't know. If they can use the same like engines that BioWare has access to, like if they can get access to all that shit, and they could create like something like Menzo Berenzin or any multiple places that are drow associated, can you imagine the beauty that they can make and how cool it would be to be able to fight beside like your favorite drow dress? Like why I want it now.
Yeah, we'll see. Hopefully they can put some stuff together and kind of change the general tithe of what the D&D video games generally happen to, which they kind of muster out.
Sakura said, I heard little birds from Texas chirping in my ears about what they're up to. Well, Sakura, we'll have to talk one of these days. Actually, this is completely off topic, but my son just watched the new Sonic movie yesterday.
Yeah?
And he was just amazed. He was super stoked on it. And he's got all these questions about like how he thinks that there's things in the movie that are hinting towards this like anniversary game and all this stuff. And I told him, I'll talk to somebody I know. Maybe he'll know secrets. And what I do for my kid, dude, he's only 10 and I'm already like, let me go find out secrets for you.
Maybe mommy knows somebody who knows something.
You do those dishes, I'll tell you my secrets.
Speaking about the Sonic movie, like I've gotten a bunch of mixed reviews from people being like, "Oh, it's it's good," and other people are like, "It's the worst thing ever." And I still I'm gonna go see it.
I want to see it, and I also want to see Birds of Prey because I fuck the negativity of people, man.
I know.
I like going and seeing movies. I like supporting all these things, and I don't care about other people's opinions because I want to enjoy it for myself.
I have no desire.
So, unpopular opinion, I like the first 3 episodes of Star Wars.
I do too. You know what? Off of popular opinion, I really like Jar Jar Binks.
Total popular opinion, hate that guy. Oh my god. However, have you seen the thread where it's like Jar Jar is like a Sith Lord? They have this whole like theory about how he's a Sith Lord, and it's I kid you not, dude. It's so good. It's so convincing too. Like it has to be true.
Ooh, Commander brings up another good digital influence. The D&D movie with Jeremy Irons in it.
Ooh, yes.
And I don't remember the queen or the princess's name. Did you guys see that?
I don't know.
You never saw it? I love that movie.
Which one?
The Dungeons and Dragons, the movie.
Yeah, no, they're all bad.
No, okay.
Much
I
better.
like it. I'm sorry.
I like it. I'm sorry.
I like the black guy, like his attitude and his opinion on everything, and
oh no, I have seen it.
Heartfelt, crushing stories, and yeah.
It's been a while.
I guess that's an unpopular opinion.
That's an unpopular opinion. Although, they have that new movie in the works. We'll see how that gets played out.
So I have some opinion. this is my opinion. My opinions do not. What's the warnings? My opinions
do not reflect the views of Cleric Games.
Yeah, this is a Cindy opinion, not a Cleric Games opinion. Okay.
Exactly.
Let's do it. I'm scared.
I have a feeling that a lot of the things that have been kind of going a little wrong at like the Dungeons and Dragons storytelling aspects right now of things is because Chris Perkins is not around because he's busy making the movie and helping write the shit for the movie and directing the movie. And like I feel like we need Chris back. And I have a feeling we lost Chris to the movie industry. So I'm a little
You think Chris is just having such a good time? He's like, well, I'm done with all the other crap.
I have a feeling they're like, bro, you have such great knowledge of all this Dungeons and Dragons stuff. We can make so many movies if we have you here to help us write this. And he's probably like,
fuck yeah.
More money than a what?
Well, Witcher is, I mean, the game base, like, every game that you look at right now that is a role-playing type game that has some kind of rolling system, whether you see it or not. So the Witcher games, they very much are like that Dungeons and Dragons aspect to it. Like they have a mechanic where the dice are rolled whether you hit or miss. Like that's why it's like improve your crit chance, improve your hit chance. Like there's all these things that you can get that will improve your stats that are all based off of D&D things. So with Witcher being out and the all-star cast that there are, and people basically are coming out of the closet now about being nerds.
Yeah.
There's the potential for a lot of things happening D&D related. You have... Sorry, go ahead.
No. My only problem with, like, I'm really glad that The Witcher came out and did what they did, but what makes me really upset is that for the nerds that are out there that just, like, maybe were like me, who never were exposed to, like, the in-depth nerdism of Dungeons and Dragons and, like, know the lore about it and, like, know all this stuff, that, like, hold on, I just saw something that Commander wrote. We'll get back to that because that makes me excited. But what I was saying was that I feel like because The Witcher came out first, anything Dungeons and Dragons then releases after is gonna be like, oh, that's very much like The Witcher.
Yeah.
That's so like The Witcher. Oh my gosh, that reminds me of like on The Witcher. And it's like, no, you need to be like me. Watch The Witcher and be like, that's so much like D&D. That reminds me of this on D&D. Like, that to me is the only thing that like makes me sad that like Wizards wasn't able to figure out on how to release something before they did. You know what I mean? Because now it's going to look like anything we do, it's going to look like, oh, that's like The Witcher.
What I want them to do is I want them to give the licensing to those directors so that they can do a Menzo Baron fucking Netflix show. I want 8 episodes, an hour long, and I want to see some drow. Let it go. Just let it happen.
Now, Commander wrote, Perkins has been working on Spelljammer. It was leaked last week. Oh, I did not know that was last week. That makes sense, though. I mean, I can go into a long-ass theory of why that makes sense to me, but that makes sense.
I mean, everything was pointing towards Spelljammer coming.
It really was.
Yeah.
I mean, they kind of like said something about it before Evanron came out. They're like, it's not Spelljammer, we're doing Evanron next, which then I was like, oh, that means Spelljammer's in the back of their mind and it's on their list of shit to do. Yeah.
I mean, they've been following with the re-release of stuff rather than like specifically new content. So, which is cool. I mean, Spelljammer's fantastic. It opens up the world. Yeah.
It sucks because Spelljammer's just gonna end up being put on the same like pedestal as probably Evanron, you know what I mean? Where it's just gonna kind of stand like it's its own thing, but like it's its own thing. So some people like it, some people don't.
So, but yeah, hopefully their movie. I hope the movie is gonna be great. Bye, Joe. Hopefully, I hope the movie will be fantastic. I hope the game comes out. Dark Alliance comes out and it's fun. So we'll see how digital influences from D&D.
That's true. Sakura made a point. It's not wizards. It's hat. Sorry, I'll correct myself. That's very true. It is that ultimately makes the final decisions on all that shit.
So,
but yeah.
Let's see. What else do I have on here? What are some technologies that you would like to see kind of happen with Dungeons and Dragons? Like we have alter reality,
VR, baby.
VR.
There's a couple cool ones right now, like Fantasy Ground or Hero Lab that buy licenses to be able to sell books and stuff on there. But they do a really good job, and I think D&D Beyond has one, and I hope to see it come out better of like encounter builders for DMs.
Yeah.
D&D Beyond's got a beta one right now, but like their encounter builder is very stiff on like I want to input the character sheets that I have into this encounter and like have like a statistic for me as the DM to be like, okay, like my rogue can do 50 damage a round if they hit, like and put that kind of information. So that way like it can adjust the encounter, because I built an encounter last night that was supposed to be deadly for an entire party. Supposed like 2 hill giants, 4 goblin huckers, the ogre huckers.
Yeah.
10 bugbears and 30 hobgoblins. That was the encounter. They wrecked it. It's deadly. It's supposed to be super deadly. They wrecked it. Like I did 23 points of damage total to a barbarian.
Wow.
They were level 5, by the way. So on there, you put 2 hill giants on there, it becomes a deadly encounter. And I added everything onto it, and they destroyed it. They annihilated that encounter because you have somebody who's got fireball. Well, there goes all the goblins, half the bugbears, and the ogres are at half life now. Like 2 fireballs did that, and like there's no good scale of encounter builders. So that's what I would hope for the future.
That's true. Yeah, that'd be cool to see. Kind of an encounter builder that has those kinds of statistics you can plug in there to help adjust. But
that's cool. I would think it'd be really cool if somehow we can get into VR where you could create your character and be your character and like go adventuring with your friends in a VR.
That would be pretty dope.
That would be amazing.
VR your own character and then get a photo op with it. Like, could you imagine like you making a gnome?
Oh god!
And then like it transports you into a gnome setting, and then you could go to like in front of a Goliath and take a photo.
Oh, that would be fun.
Or like there's a dragon behind you for scale.
Just hanging out.
See, you know what'd be really cool is like, what if there was a VR game where you can then get in and you play. Like you for the training area, like you meet up with Zach, who's like supposed to be one of the greatest warriors of Menzo Berenson, he's Triss's dad, who trains you how to sword fight, or trains him how to sword fight. What if you got trained how to sword fight by him in game? Like, how fun would that be?
That'd be pretty rad, dude.
You know what I mean?
I wouldn't mind, like, even if it was like as simple as Beat Saber. You know, like. Just in a D&D skin.
I got some friends that want me to play Beat Saber, but I'm not comfortable like dancing around in front of them.
Dude, I want to play Beat Saber so bad. Anyways, yeah, and I think VR would be pretty dope. I really want to see like alter reality. I think that would be a really, really cool thing to kind of involve if you could just put a little like QR code on the table and people had glasses and it just like, you know, you could see the map on the table, so it still has that real heavy pen and paper, but it's all fake. You know? Oh, what happened?
Are you laughing at soccer right
now? Yeah. You and Lee, man.
Hashtag Sakura, why have we invited Sakura to the Foxy Lady Bar yet?
I don't know, Sakura. Are you gonna be able to ever make it out on Thursday night to the Foxy Lady Bar?
it's kind of
have a hell of a commute.
It'd be way out of the way, but that'd be fun.
But yeah, that's I think that'd be really cool, Mikey, to have like something where it's alternate reality, then sit on the mat, like there's a play mat out there, and then you have your little minute in your screen, and you're looking at it through your screen, pointed at the map in the middle of it.
Can we do a grid style like chess where you're like, okay, PC character to E5, and then you move, like so you don't even have to because you can't touch the mini.
That's true. That you can't touch the mini.
Yeah, I also imagine like the Star Wars holodeck or the Star Wars chess game.
Oh yeah, that would be cool.
So that'd be fun.
That'd be fun.
I mean, they are digitizing a lot of like card games. Like Yu-Gi-Oh has its own digital version of it. Sometimes it works.
Sometimes it works.
Well, like Pokemon.
Yeah.
It's Pikachu!
Oh my gosh.
I really want to.
I got some good ones for this segment, by the way.
Oh, do you?
Yeah.
Good. I'm ready. I'm all ready for them. But.
Soccer said, Mikey, that's a really good idea, and stole.
But no, I think
future, man.
I think the one thing that D&D is kind of missing is terrain and battlefield. Like, if
there's terrain and battlefield shit all over the place. The problem is that they're missing that is digitally format.
Something that's easy, like readily available for like everyday DMs. I wish that we had something like something that was similar to Roll20 because everyone has access to it. If Roll20 could go isometric and have just a little bit of 3D to it, I think that would be a game changer.
Well, I told Fritz I'm going to make some kind of grid or whatever so that it's easy to like burn in the grid onto foam because like having to hand do that is super annoying. So like if there was just like a metal cutout that you could buy for $40 or whatever, and all you have to do is just like follow the lines, like please and thank you. Like it's really annoying.
So because I mean seeing like people build terrain and they really bring life to the game, and it's fantastic and amazing, but it's also expensive and time consuming, and I would love to see just a kid. I would love to see Zeke have like the capability to build a 3D environment for D&D that didn't cost $1 million or anything like that.
I have a great idea. So something that I think would be great to kind of tie a lot of this all together. I just got on to Kickstarter, and Josh, for a Valentine's Day gift, kickstarted these glasses for me, and they're like set up like they're glasses that the screen is to help with the blue light, right? And then there's these little tiny speakers that are inside the arms of the glasses, so that I don't have to wear headphones. And the sound is like almost like a whisper to someone sitting next to me or at the other side of the table, but I could hear it like full in my ear. Imagine if they could create that you can then take to the, and then that way where somehow the VR is within the lenses, because I've seen lenses that do that where you can kind of see stuff in the lens. So like, what if you were to do that where you could see that, and then the DM just has to a microphone, so that at a convention everyone could still hear them in the headphones without being super loud, and then that way you can even have music playing.
That would be cool. So, and especially because I mean we have paper thin screen technology, like that's the thing we have, So
Fritz is calling me out in a direct message of Dungeon Craft literally does that. You have all the materials you need for $30. Link in chat, everybody, if you want to go back. Or it's the Kickstarter's done.
What is this?
Dungeon Craft. You know the like cutout stuff that I have that I use at like PAX. Yeah, that was all Dungeon Craft. I had the beta version, so like I have to like hand cut everything out, and I have big hands and scissors hurt my hands. so I don't do it all the time. But like the Kickstarter actually like has some kind of laminated or is printed on, so like it's wet and dry erase, and it's all ready to go for you just to go through and like pull it out and put it on your thing. Like, here's some forest, here's a tree, here's a house, here's some horses. You're good to go.
So Dungeon Craft is to me it's an in between what I want. I want more 3D like elevation. Like it's not something that is like, you know, something you can easily move around and all the blocks and pieces. I love Dungeon Craft because it does add the element of bringing life to a thing. It makes it quick and easy. And like when you built those pieces for PAX last year, they were fantastic. They were a huge hit amongst everyone. But I'm thinking like, I have this image of Final Fantasy Tactics, like Battlefield. Like that's the image I have in my mind.
Okay.
So, yeah, you know, it's not 3D and it doesn't cost $300. Yeah, but it's, you know, I don't know. It'd be kind of cool, you know, AR, whatever. But I think we'll start seeing things like that pretty soon. Technology is advancing at a crazy speed, so I'd expect to kind of see these things. Papercraft. So Fritz is actually what Papercraft. If Papercraft was not time consuming,
bro, you can origami it all.
You could origami it all. However, like transporting that around, it wouldn't be as easy as, you know, just magic. I'm super picky. I'm being super picky because I can. But I've imagined doing like an entire Papercraft doodad. So I think it would be kind of like dope. Again, it's all in AR. You know, it would be Dungeon Craft tiles. You would have an open, you know, place, and you would place the tiles out, and it'd be like, boop, there's a tree. Boop, you know, boom. I like that. That's what I want. In and around my body, I guess.
Okay.
Thanks. So, let's see. What else? Digital influences. Cindy, are you still here?
Oh.
I thought she was either being super still or something happened.
There was one time I thought she disconnected and she was just being super still, so I don't know what to think anymore.
Fritz says, so Michael becomes the map. We can do some gridded body paint for Emerald City. Yes. It would be like those sushi places where you eat sushi off the lady. But instead, you'll have to move your minis. It'll only be mountain terrain. All kinds of things around your body. So, but, you know, because I remember I was super excited about, they did the tiles, Dwarven Forge, I think is the company that, like,
yeah.
I think they were one of the first ones to kind of put out the 3D tiles.
But super expensive.
Super expensive.
I bought items from them twice, and I feel like I've regretted it every time.
I think again, super cool, real fun. To me, I just like the Chessex the wet erase maps. I think those are fantastic. I think it's just enough immersion for people who have a hard time with theater of the mind. You know, you get the grid combat feel. You can use all sorts of assets like like the Dungeon Craft cutouts to kind of build it and give it color. That way you're not spending a silly amount of time trying to build stuff. So like I've found a lot of success and happiness in just the simple playmats. So
well, I mean, even my 3D tile stuff has been, I actually still have it here if you want to show it off. So
Yeah.
it's down. We can pull that out now.
You still have it?
It is very poor quality compared to what Fritz has done, but I have done it before. Or I've never done it before, so this is my first go at it. I may have broken some stuff in the pack up and bring home.
One thing that I have noticed is anytime you've done these, new players, it's really appealing.
Right, it pops
appealing.
Out to them.
Oh yeah, here I want this one.
This one.
Yes.
It is trashed. I didn't realize that you can't use that spray paint on it, so it kind of...
Oh, it kind of melted it?
It kind of melted it, but it's a really cool texture because it's supposed to be like an underground, old school cave kind of thing.
Yeah.
So it worked out for, I think, the better.
I think the only thing that was a little bit off was like the stairs.
Yeah.
That was the only thing that kind of...
I couldn't get in there enough because I have big hands. So that's part of it that went on top.
But this, I love this. I love miniatures that kind of breathe life into a room, like the little bookcase, the study, the table, and all that stuff.
Yeah.
Did you?
I think I destroyed those miniatures though. So that's from the. Set the big one down. That's from the. Crap.
This is the one with the
Bad Mage. Alistair's laboratory or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
So all those miniatures came from his like box set collection that you did.
This I love.
Yeah, that's all handmade. I grabbed some like small picks and stuff, and I cut them up into like 1-inch squares and tried to build a like cage for it. And then there's as part of the graveyard scene from one of the other Buy a Box promo things on there. I used hot glue to glue it on, and I learned that that's a bad thing to do. So
yeah.
You're not supposed to hot glue things because basically the hot glue is stuck on the bottom now. So I have to figure out how to pry that off.
Okay, I see what you're talking about.
Yeah. But overall, like I just like cut out some of the pieces of it. I got a foam cutter, which is like $10 at Walmart.
Okay.
So I thought that it was gonna be way more than that. And it literally just glides through it like butter once it's warmed up. And then
did you just grab a ruler and just kind
yeah, I got a L ruler.
Dude, that looks really good on camera.
Yeah, that looks pretty good. But yeah, the staircase didn't really work out, and I didn't fully read this section of it. I went to the very back and I saw the map, and I was like, I'm just gonna start building the map. And so I started building it, not realizing that they came from the center and then they worked their way out and around.
Mm-hmm.
Once I was talking to DMs about it at the convention, it made more sense at that point. But it was pretty cool. I feel like it brought up a lot of people over. So I'm going to make some more for Emerald City Comic Con. We're going to do Volo's Wake, like I said before, and we're going to have probably 4 or 5 of the maps actually 3D printed, or not printed, but 3D made to grab those people and bring them in for that attraction, because it is kind of a wow factor.
Who's the guy we have that usually builds terrain for stuff?
That's Andrew H.
Is it?
Yeah, he's one of the guys who builds a lot of terrains and brings a lot.
I think that I think that this stuff is super cool.
Oh yeah, and then there's also Kevin who does it for.
I'm thinking of Kevin.
You're thinking of Kevin, yeah.
He puts lights in it and all sorts of stuff. Like I think this is really cool. And
Kevin did a whole hand for the Iron Giant at OrcaCon.
Did he really?
Yeah,
it was so dope.
It was dope. Where the white is on that's where the bookshelf fell off because we weren't careful. I wasn't careful packing it up. I kind of shoved it all in because they were like, "Hey, it's 6 o'clock. Let's go home." So I had to pack it pretty quickly.
Fritz says, "Have I seen Gridscape?" I mean, I haven't. Do you know what Gridscape is?
He sent me a link. I could send it to you.
Okay.
He's been sending me links. Personally.
But I think that, to me, the one thing that I'd like to see, like as a digital influence, is maps. I think that they're beautiful and cool, and I'm always jealous I think I could make some pretty cool stuff out of foam core and things of the like.
Yeah.
But again, like just moving it around. I think I'm thinking too much about like this is kind of the size of my arm.
Yeah.
Like going to conventions.
Those are too big.
Like moving it around and I think you get a duffel bag just of parts and something. But
I learned that like you don't want something more than like to fit it into things. You don't want it more than like 70 inches because those are 95 inches long.
Gotcha.
Or not 95. They're 95 feet. So I don't know what that translates into. All the math was struggling for me.
A lot of transportation we do is with the black bins with the yellow tops.
Yeah.
I think you guys may have seen those at like a Home Depot or something alike. But I think if you could get them that they would fit in there relatively well, you could probably make a cool transportable method for kind of the larger things.
Yeah.
I love the fact that these are so big. I like it.
Fritz yelled at me and he told me to go find some different kind of foam, but
different foam.
Yeah, the secret of my success so far is that I can find that foam at the local store I play at. There's a dump like right across
free
the
foam.
way.
Free foam is good
foam.
foam.
There's literally truckloads of foam, so I just go in and I grab that foam and I use that. So I also know somebody's gonna be like 3D printing a boat for their game, and I was like, bro, like WizKids made a boat. It's $250 painted, or like $125 unpainted.
I have dreams of doing of making a popsicle boat.
Yeah,
yeah,
that'd be fun.
I think it'd be cool. I mean it's. I think people who have the time to build these things are fantastic. I think they're the ones that really inspire me to play the game.
Yeah.
For like legitimately, I love when other DMs and other players
yes, hobo
build
foam.
this stuff.
I will take it. It's
Hobo
free
foam.
and it's not dirty because it's all collected in the same foam pile. So whatever, I'll take it.
So, I think for me, because I do so much stuff digitally, like I do a lot of stuff in Photoshop, and like I've built some of the maps and stuff. I think that's just kind of my go-to rather than like this.
Yeah. My only problem with the digital maps when they're printed out and everything is it's on white paper and it's really harsh on my eyes. Like
I feel it. Yeah.
I'm such a like everything. If there is a setting for dark mode on anything and everything, it's on for me.
I wonder if I could coffee stain them. Like if I got like a big plastic tube and just I wonder if I could pull off coffee staining them. 'Cause I think that would give it a cool look too.
Yeah.
And that's something I'll have to try out.
Anybody ever tried to copy stain your papers before, other than like the secret notes of the DM?
Large format paper. Have you ever coffee stained something that's like boof by boof? That's something that I'd like to see.
Oh, Fritz is just showing off now.
Has he just sending you
He
stuff?
just sent me pictures of like this entire setup that he had. And he's got like dynamic like focuses on all of his stuff. He uses he goes through a company called Gridscape.
Okay.
I think that's what he was talking to you about. And they've got some really cool stuff. I just I haven't committed yet.
I feel it.
WizKids also is coming out with a new like grid thing. There's one brand of it where like they have what are called like witch clips or something like that, and they can clip together so that you can actually build terrains and grids. And they have two different packages. They have one that's like $60 and one that's $100 that's coming out probably I think before September.
Okay.
I just saw a post about them recently, so
I like I like seeing these things.
Hang on. Jamie asked a question. She says, lay it out on a table with plastic and spray paint it with a spray bottle. I wish I was that smart to use plastic. So I put down a box.
Okay.
And I set it on top of a box. But the problem with the table that I was using is it's my fiance's catch-all. So everything that she has like is on that table when she comes home from work. So I'm trying to like spray on this table because it's the only table that we have. And I'm like using another box to like set it behind it as like a backstopper or whatever to spray paint it. Well, spray particles went everywhere.
Yeah.
And they got all over this table. Like, it got under the box. Luckily, hot water and dish soap got it all up.
That's good. I mean, if you're quick enough.
Hey, Scorpion, thank you for the follow.
Hey, thank you for the follows. Hey, puppies.
So yeah, Jamie, it was a disaster, but it was everything of creating this was a learning experience for me.
Yeah, I like Jamie's idea of the plastic in the spray bottle. I think that would be a pretty good way to coffee stain it.
That's
what I read at least.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Hey, sweetie pie. What are you doing?
That's actually really smart. That's a good idea.
Because then you get that cool texture where you can overspray certain parts and you get that kind of extra depth in certain areas. Now the question is, what kind of coffee do you use? Like a dark roast? Do you do a light roast?
Just go cheap.
Just go cheap.
I don't know anything about coffee.
I'll go and get bulk coffee. Are you itchy? You itchy?
She better not be. She's just got a steroid shot and a bunch of antibiotics.
She says, I have
she's
so much.
sick all the time.
I got so much prednisone in my body right now. You're such a sweet puppy. Oh, you're such a sweet puppy.
You ready for the who's that?
Yeah. Let's run that off.
That was Ahsoka, everybody. My doggo that you can't see because I'm the man behind the camera, so you never get to see me.
Yes.
Yeah.
Such a good dog.
All right. So, what do you want to go first? I have Monster.
I can. That's on my screen.
That's fine. I have everything named differently, so you can't guess what it is, anyways.
Let's do.
I want to start with this one. This is the spell.
Okay. Yeah. Let's do.
So this is the symbol according to D&D Beyond for the spell.
For the spell.
Which is a conjuration spell. This is a first level spell of an action of casting time. It has a range of 60 feet with a 5-foot area effect after it.
Okay. With just that information, I'm going to think for a moment.
Okay.
I'm going to think for a moment. Quick note to the chat.
Better than coffee?
That's where we got black tea, dark roast. Tea bags are better than coffee. I like that. Hobo coffee, good puppy. Use wallpaper if you want to make scrolls or large maps. Kenobi says you are all brilliant, which is all right. You said it's conjuration. It's first level. I'm trying to imagine this as like a hand gesture. He's just like, I'm gonna guess that this spell is like conjure food and water.
Conjure food and water.
That's what my first, just on the little information he gave me.
With a 60-foot range and a 5-foot burst?
Well, it would only make sense if you could conjure a baguette 60 feet away from you. You know, baguette.
Food fight!
all right, I need more info. What else?
Okay.
Yeah.
It is an attack. You have to make an attack roll. And there's a saving
throw. Conjure food and water, Doc!
And there's a saving throw.
And
is
a saving
piercing damage effect.
Okay.
School's conjuration.
Okay, is this, let's think.
Oh, I hear a Cindy.
Oh, do we have a, should I?
Yeah, put your headphones back.
Okay.
Cindy's coming back home.
Cindy, have you returned?
I hope so.
Okay, we're going to get you on screen in a moment.
It was so dark where I went.
It was so dark. Oh, Cindy, we're doing the what's that Pokemon?
I know.
Okay.
Pikachu!
Alright.
Cool.
Cool.
So do you want the information again, Cindy? Of what?
Yes, please.
Okay. It's a first level spell, casting time of 1 action. It has a range of 60 feet with a 5-foot burst. It is a somatic and material spell. It is from the School of Conjuration. It is a dexterity attack and has a save and does piercing damage. That's everything that Michael has so far.
This is a spell. This is not in the player's handbook. This spell is from Mordekainen's?
Ooh. Yeah, it is from Elemental Evil.
Elemental Evil. This is you said it deals piercing damage. It has a boof. Is this like an ice dagger?
I like Sakura's suggestion. Is the attack of many ice cream cones.
Conjure food and water, my homie. I'm telling you, this is the baguette with too much butter. So you conjure it, you throw it, and then it hits your target, dealing piercing damage, and then it explodes with garlic butter.
So you create a shard of ice and fling it at one creature within range. Make a spell attack against the target. On a hit, it takes 1d10 piercing damage, or on a miss, then the shard explodes. The target and each creature within 5 feet of it must make a dexterity saving throw, or take 2d6 cold damage.
AKA.
What is it called? Oh, we haven't guessed it yet, right?
I kind of guessed it. It's the name of this spell is called I Sharted.
Thank you, Scorpion. Scorpion.
Ice knife.
Yeah.
Sorry, Cindy.
Oh, okay. I was gonna say because I didn't realize that there was ice until you said ice.
He didn't.
I thought it was like the crazy like dagger, like raining dagger one.
Do the have we done the enchantment?
Yes, that was
Oh, okay.
That was one we did, I think, 2 weeks ago.
Okay.
Which one do I have ready?
Do
this one. This is a magic item.
Oh, okay.
I'm gonna move it so it's not blocking Mikey's face.
It's blocking. That is me. Hello, everyone. My name is Tony.
Okay, so this is a magic item. There are multiple varieties of this item. I want you to brainstorm right now with just that information.
All right, Cindy.
Wait, what?
So
with the image, I don't know if it's popping up on your screen.
Can you see the image?
Yes.
What do you think? What do you think this magical item is? I'm pretty sure I know what it is. I think this is called the Crown of Balls.
Fuck, I don't know.
It is a wondrous item. It is an item. It is a wondrous item and requires attunement. The rarity for it varies depending on which one it is. The most commonly used one gives you +1 to your armor class, and there's a dusty rose prism orbiting over your head.
I like in the picture. There are some of them are orbs, some of them are like not orbs.
They have 24 armor
like
class and 10 hit points, and they're resistant to all damage.
I forgot that you could target them.
Yeah,
that's right.
If an AOE affects them, are they still affected?
If they get fireball, does that touch them?
Yeah, I think it will.
Oh, that destroys them.
Yeah.
Wow. I think I know what it is.
Yes, you do need to attune to them.
You have to attune to the balls
floating
around your head.
Of dope spinning.
The mighty.
Oh my god, I don't know. Armor of pinball.
Armor of pinball.
I think it's an ion stone.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. Ion stone. The one that I read was protection.
Yes. I know one of the stones gives you a higher AC. One of them gives you like protection from a specific element.
There's so many. There's like 24.
There's a bunch of stones.
There's the rare stone of religious knowledge that gives you proficiency in religion and gives you +1.
Hold on a second, Cindy. Cindy, one of them is the something of religion.
Yeah.
Dude, what do you think that stone looks like?
Just a flying cross.
What do you cross?
It's either that or like the
rosary bead.
The Om symbol.
Om.
Yeah.
The most like widely used and known one is the Ion Stone of Protection.
Yeah, the one with AC.
Yeah. I honestly, I've seen it. I've actually seen it drop recently. Is the Ion Stone of Regeneration. It's pretty cool.
What does that do?
You regain 15 hit points at the end of each hour, it's provided you have at least 1 hit point.
That's nice.
And then I've also seen, and this is all in AL. I've also seen the Ion Stone of Mastery. You gain proficiency bonus increased by 1 while you're wearing this. So
that one I like. I like the proficiency bonus boost.
yeah, it's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Really good for bards because it goes towards their jack of all trades.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah, it goes towards jack of all trades.
Yep.
So you can actually get a +4, I think.
At least in the early levels, yeah. When you get the +3 to your proficiency, which is level 5. I think it's 5th level.
Can I guess on these two without ruining it for these two? Yes, you can go ahead and guess them. They tend to focus on their thought process instead of reading chat.
Yeah. I'll leave the chat alone and let you guys. Oh, I know what this one is.
This guy's fun. All right, here's the next one. This is a creature.
It's a creature.
It is a creature.
This one's Pikachu.
This one is Pikachu.
They share Yingle. I'm gonna butcher this. Yenno Gu's ceaseless hunger for carnage and mortal flesh. After they rest for 8 hours, they can anything devoured by it is transported directly to the Lord of Savagery's gullet. They appear among no warrior bands, usually summoned by a ritual offering of freshly slain humanoids to the Yenno no Gu. The gnolls don't command them, but these demons accompany the war bands and attack whatever creatures gnolls fall upon. The first time I actually saw these things was in Ghost of the Salt Marsh.
Yep.
They appear on the boat once you long.
Once you.
No, it's actually after that. It's chapter 4 or something like that.
I always.
Yeah, I don't think I got that far yet.
I always imagine these things as way more powerful than they are.
I mean, they're pretty dope, but they have an armor class of 13,
yeah.
33 hit points, but they do have the demon qualities of they're immune to poison, they're resistant to cold, fire, and lightning.
I think they're a fun encounter for low levels.
It's Stitch!
This is...
it looks like Grung from Real Monsters, except his eyeballs are in his body and not in his hand.
It totally does! He's got an extra arm.
And he's got an extra eye.
Yeah.
Exactly.
It has the ability to rampage when it is reduced to 0 hit points by a melee attack on its next turn. The Maw Demon can take a bonus action to move half of its speed to make a bite attack.
Spoiler alert.
Yeah.
What?
It has no languages and it is a challenge rating of 1.
I don't know.
What would you name it if you could name it?
The Gobbler.
You would name it a Gobbler?
Because he just looks like he gobbles everything down his throat. Look at it. He just opens it and goes...
This creature is otherwise known as a Gak monster.
Gak monster?
Yes.
That is incorrect. This is a Maw Demon.
It's allergic to peanuts. Most people don't know that the Maw Demon is in fact allergic to peanuts. And if you ever have any Gak with you, that's how you summon it. You just rub some Gak in some dirt.
Oh man, Gak, that's
no, you're incorrect, Mikey. You're supposed to make it fart.
Oh! Those are flarps. I miss Gak, but I have a can of flarp, which is
All right, so what is it, Ben?
It is a Maw Demon.
It's a Maw Demon.
It's a what demon?
Maw.
M-A-W.
A Maw Demon?
Yeah. I'm gonna do a bonus monster because I really like this one. I was gonna do it last week for the group that was with us, but with technology cutting us short, it didn't pan out.
That's fair.
This is a creature that you find in against the giants. He's got a bite attack and can swallow things whole.
Is that a dog it's eating?
Dude,
it's probably like a hyena.
Bro, that hyena is getting bodied right now.
Yeah,
Dog.
he is
There you go. Yeah, do a big one. Yeah, that'll cover me.
Okay, he's not covered.
What is?
I
So
don't know.
this one
is squishy. Or squishy.
Honestly, I don't know if it has any special name. Like I would just call it an ice toad, but I don't know. Like it's got those weird blue bumps on its back, and
it has a standing leap. It can long jump up to 20 feet, or jump straight up for 10 feet.
Is it a large category monster?
It is a large monstrosity.
Whoa! Monstrosity.
It is immune to cold damage.
Okay.
It has one language of the name of the monster that it is, and it has a cold aura that any creature starting within 10 feet of it takes 5.
Wait, it has its own language?
Yeah.
Well, I have no idea what this one is.
You got any guesses there, Cindy?
The frozen sapple.
What's its intelligence? What'd you call it?
A frozen sapple?
A frozen sapple.
That is great.
Is that Spanish for something?
A sapple is kind of like a name for a frog, but in Colombia, like that's what my grandmother and I used to call it, a sapple.
Well, you both are basically correct. This is a giant ice toad.
Okay.
A giant what? You cut
But-
out.
Ice toad.
A giant ice toad. Oh, okay. Well, I called it pretty much that, but it's Spanish. All right.
What's really cool about this thing is when last time I ran against the giants, I swallowed a druid, and then the druid turned into a giant ape, and I made them take 10d10 crushing damage each. And
That's
it
rad.
was glorious. So
What language does it speak?
it speaks ice toad.
It's just, wow.
Yep.
That's impressive.
All right. This last one is a bonus because I thought it was interesting to throw it in there if I can find out what happened to the image. Maybe I can't.
Is it the boots?
No.
Is it...
Oh man, where did it go?
I like, so I can see kind of what Ben's doing, and he's got the picture of the Death Tyrant, and the name of it is Who Dat.
Who dat?
Who Dat the Death Tyrant. The Death Tyrant. That is hilarious. Let's see.
Alright.
I think it's fucking vicious.
So, here's the last one. This is a class.
This is a class?
Yep. So I'll let you take in the image, and then I'll start to read some of the class features.
Just by looking at it, I would expect this to be a monk subclass.
I can't see anything yet.
Oh yeah, you gotta wait for the stream.
Yeah.
Delay.
The delay. Can you put it up on the Discord?
Yeah.
Drop me the picture. Let's see.
Ow.
Ooh. She dealt so much damage to my ear holes.
Wow. That looks like the thing from fucking Mortal Kombat. It looks like what's his
Raiden?
name?
Yoshimitsu.
Alright, it is a monk subclass, but which one is it?
Yeah, it's gotta be a monk samurai.
This is the legendary monk subclass known as the Sandwich Artisan. Born and raised in the land of Subway, they learn at an early age how to wield...
In West Hong Kong, born and raised. Down at the Subways where I spent most of my days chopping up bread, spitting out salami.
I think Scorpion.
Then you get a gold star.
I can bard!
You can bard so good. I would assume this is a Kinsei.
That is correct.
Yes.
I only know that it is a Kinsei because I play For Honor, and they have a character that looks like that because that's a spear that they have for the most part, and a longbow, and that's exactly what the Kinsei wields.
See, I really like a 5th edition being a ranged character, so if I were to make a Kensei monk, I would go with a Kensei shot and make my longbow my monk weapon, because why not? So yeah.
Wait, when you do that, does that allow you to do like stunning palm, whatever.
I think that has to be a melee attack. I'm not sure.
That might have to be a melee attack.
Kensei, you choose 2 weapons to be your Kensei weapons. 1 melee weapon and 1 ranged weapon. Each of these weapons are simple martial weapons that lack the heavy or special property. The longbow is also a valid choice. You gain proficiency with these weapons if you don't already have it. Weapons of the chosen type are monk weapons. You can increase the amount at 6th, 11th, and 17th level for the weapons that you choose.
Okay.
You can do as a bonus action the Kensei shot. You can make a ranged attack with the Kensei weapon more deadly. When you do so, any target you hit with a ranged attack using the Kensei weapon deals an actual 1d4 damage of that weapon type, and you retain this benefit until the end of the current turn. It's Mushish!
Moosh moosh.
Yeah.
That's kind of cool.
No, you cannot do the stunning strike with it, though.
Okay. I mean, I feel like it'd be a little bit broken if you could.
Yeah.
But I'd allow it. So no, that's cool. I've built a monk, but I've never really played a monk.
Cindy, I said Mushi and Ahsoka's freaking out. She sees him on screen and she's literally watching him.
Oh yeah, she's just staring.
She sees him and she's so excited she wants to play.
She really?
Yeah.
Aww.
Here, I'll take a photo of her.
She says, "But my friend," as
Well,
Moosh.
why is he on the screen?
Yeah.
Do you also have Jackson out there, or is he?
Jackson's not in here right now. He's in the office. He stays in the office so that him and Bushi don't just sit there fucking rampaging through the trailer the whole time.
Ah, very cool. All right, well, it's about that time that we end our little Tuesday talks. Thank you to everyone in the chat. I had a pretty good time guessing stuff.
Yes, I apologize for my lack of talking today. It's been very difficult because hearing you guys was a little patchy. Sometimes I would hear what you were saying. Sometimes I didn't. So I want to thank everybody for their patience and joining us for today. Thank you so much. If you subbed or followed today, we thank you for joining us. And if you gifted, thank you again. If you are not, please make sure you follow, subscribe, like. We're on everything and anything you could possibly think of for mainstream social media right now.
I was like, we're on everything. I knew we had a Grinder profile.
Oh, maybe almost.
I knew it.
But yes, thank you everybody again. It's been a great Tuesday. I had a really interesting talk. I'd like to explore more of this if you like to, Mikey, and maybe play some of these games.
Yes.
Talk about it.
I wanna play some games. That'd be fun. Anyways, from the studio, from the farm, I'm Michael Gramling.
And I'm Cindy Munoz, the High Priestess, 710. Thank you so much and enjoy Bonsai's raid.
Yes! We are to raid the Bonsai, who makes crafty things. Make sure you give her a like. Follow her if you think she's got some cool content. I think she's super fun. Like, all the whistles and bells she has.